Wanted to finish the 1992 season on the racetrack.
And off they took, running up pit road to try to wait for the car to be pulled in. So believe me, there is no quit here in this Hamlin team.
We didn't quit. That was a sense of pride for Davey Allison. That's just how we were. Everybody.
Davey Allison goes back out onto the racetrack.
I think the only sheet metal on it was the roof and a couple of doors and maybe one of the quarter panels. And I said, you know what? That makes a classic statement about the 1992 season in Davey Allison. We never gave up, but we wasn't in victory lane or holding that championship trophy like truly we should have been either.
Both will receive a bonus for leading one lap, but only one can collect the points for leading the most laps.
The calculations, simple. Lead every lap you can lead. You didn't have to tell me what was going on. I knew what was going on.
Bill Elliot has been told that he needs to pass the 7 car. Well, what he's trying to do. Every lap with every ounce of horsepower that Budweiser Ford will muster. Alan Kulwicki has been told by Danny Glad and the crew he must keep the 11 car behind him because if he gets past, he may not lead the most laps and he may lose the race and the championship. So these guys are running wide open.
No, there's no computer technology. There's no live timing and scoring. We got stopwatches. We're manually counting the laps on a piece of paper. Every time he goes by, you put an X.
But neither team has enough fuel to make it to the end of the race. Both must have a flawless pit stop for gas. And both must finish near the front to have a chance at the championship.
Paul, we're talking about pitting on lap, what, 306, 37, somewhere along there?
Yeah, something like that. You know, it would be crazy to put tires on. Probably just going to gas and go. Yeah, anything could happen. This is not over yet.
Elliot is way up on the racetrack.
Stays out there.
Yeah, he does.
But he can't run out of gas down the front straightaway. He'll lose everything he runs out now.
Yeah, that seems like it's just rolling the dice a little too much.
Hard to understand why they would even gamble. When they got to stop anyway, why would they gamble on going 2 or 3 more laps?
They told Alan to pit that time by. Their calculations are it may not make it back. They said, you got to come in. So now he will come around and come in this lap. And he let Bill go by. And now we'll watch for Alan Kulwicki to make it down pit road. And how long it will take him to get gas only and be able to get back on the racetrack.
Can't make no mistakes. From Paul making the right calls to praying that the car stays together to Alan doesn't do something crazy. Unfortunately, we had a different circumstances. We didn't get car full.
I'll never forget looking down there and watching him come down pit road at me and knowing I'm the only soul on pit road and TV and God and everybody's watching. I'm like, please don't screw up.
The gas can only go in as fast as I can open up the vent. And I think it was like 3 or 4 seconds of gas we had to have, and it wasn't even that.
Less than 4 seconds for fuel.
Man, could he have gotten enough fuel in that car in 3.5 seconds?
Well, I wonder about that, Jerry.
All the guys were like, did you get it full? Did you get enough in it? I go, I just counted the 3, I guess. I don't know, my 3 and your 3 may not be the same 3. And I'm panicking. They got me nervous that I didn't get enough in it.
Look at that can. Did he get enough of it in there?
I tell you, the can still looks awfully heavy.
Now, there's not much they can do about it now. If they didn't get enough and he doesn't make it, that's it.
My wife, she was 8 months pregnant, and she was at the race. I said, look, if this thing runs out of gas, I said, you run like hell to the car. You crank it. And I said, because these guys are going to kill me if we run out of gas.
Somewhere along the line, we had to come across the radio. And it's funny now, but it wasn't funny, very funny then. We had to come across the radio and say, okay, Alan, we need you to conserve gas every chance you get. There's a pause. Okay, what do you mean? So, well, we believe we got enough gas in there, but, we're not 100% sure. If you got an opportunity to conserve, you need to conserve. Or you can't lose second place, you got to stay in second.
Here comes Bill. Here comes Elliot. Elliot drops down off the banking.
Bill Elliot heads down pit road in the Budweiser Ford Thunderbird. This could decide the Winston Cup Championship. Tim Brewer and the crew standing by. Watch Henry Midfield. He's a veteran gas man. Cass going in the car, sitting out. 3.4 seconds. Elliot is away for the identical pit stop. 3.4 seconds for both these guys. Who got enough fuel in to finish the race?
So when Bill pitted, kind of a miscue, so to speak. We went back on the racetrack. Terry Labonte stayed out, led 2 laps.
Those 2 laps are the difference. NASCAR quickly tabulates the points of the championship contenders, and the broadcasters do the same.
Ken? Who is it? Because NASCAR's still calculating.
I was shaking, my hands were shaking, and I write the note and I give it to Bob and I show it to Ned and Benny. They held up a little legal pad and said, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, this is a big deal.
Kulwicki has led the most laps for not officially yet. All right, we'll wait. Boy, this thing is going to go down to the bitter end.
Man. Kulwicki was supposed to stop on lap 306. He ran to 309. Those 3 laps got him in front.
And Ken goes, Alan Kulwicki, you sure? Absolutely. And then we put it on the air.
We are not following the leader of the race. We are focused in on Alan Kulwicki, who is going to win the 1992 NASCAR Winston Cup.
Bob was comfortable with those numbers, and Bob was able to make, you know, one of the great calls in NASCAR history.
Bill Elliot comes off the 4th corner. He wins the Hooters 500. But Alan Kulwicki is coming off of corner number 4, knowing that he's winning the championship. There's the checkered flag for Alan. He's the champion for 92. The crew celebrating their Winston Cup victory in 1992.
That day is notched in my memory forever, and other than my kid being born, that's probably the greatest day of my life. We were the underdogs, you know, we were the underbirds, and we did it. You know, we went out and beat these guys with multi-million-dollar sponsorships. You know, here's this group of guys, and we go out there and win this championship. It's, you know, it'll never be done like that again.
That was pretty amazing. It really was.
We're all, like I say, once a misfits here, we did it, so it was cool. It was cool.
And Richard Petty is taking one final lap around this racetrack as the fans salute him, and his career comes to an end.
Here comes Kulwicki down the front straightaway. He and Richard will probably collide because I'm sure Kulwicki's going to do something spectacular. Let's see.
Remember his first win at Phoenix? He took what he called, and these are his words, a Polish victory lap.
Yep.
And guess what? He's going to do it again. Combing his hair.
He's combing his hair. He had a comb down there. I wonder what he was looking for.
As Alan Kulwicki celebrates, Victory Lane hosts one of the most disappointed race winners that NASCAR has ever seen.
Very, very hollow feeling. Yeah, you won the race, but you lost the war. Everybody comes back and goes, hey, he knew he had to lead all the laps. He knew he had to do this. Well, hell, you think we didn't?
1 lap and 1 position was enough. November 15th, 1992, forever belongs to Alan Kulwicki and his crew, who took on the biggest teams in NASCAR and won. It was the day that the king took off his crown.
For the final time, the king, Richard Petty, will say goodbye, and there aren't many dry eyes down here.
We went up in the truck. There was Sharon and Lisa and Rebecca and Linda, and they was all crying, and I got to crying because it was the last race.
I feel so glad for him that he was able to do it the way he wanted to do it. Even though I know inside, I know he was a part of him died that day, I'm sure.
means so much more to me today, knowing that I got a chance to race with Richard Petty in his final race. But other than that, it wasn't a very memorable day for either one of us. He went up in the ball of flame, I spun out and hit the wall.
It was a memorable day for Alan Kulwicki and his team. Now, forever, a NASCAR champion.
Alan was the bridge from the past to the future. He was the engineer before we had engineers. He was the owner-driver when owner-drivers were on their way out.
I'll tell you, this is just the dream of a lifetime. I've been the underdog a lot of my career, and that's the way I want people to remember me. Maybe it'll help some of the people that are dreaming about doing this to believe in themselves, and, you know, if I can do it, maybe they can too.
The driver responses after that race were so pure.
It's been a long year, and, you know, regardless of what happens, it's been one of those type seasons, and a lot of things has happened, and I mean, I'm just glad it's over with.
You know, I've run that race 1,000 times in my mind.
To go out, winning the race.
The thing I remember most about it, when we didn't win that championship, I mean, it was like the world stopped.
The world kept turning for the number 11 team, but their best chance at a championship was gone. They won only one more race together before Junior Johnson retired a few years later.
Thanks for everything. Are you glad this is over? The year's over?
I'm not glad it ended this way, but I am kind of glad that it's come to an end now and we can go get some things sorted out and get ready for next year.
It's just almost cruel.
Nah, it just wasn't meant to be.
Davey Allison kept smiling, but the rest of his team was devastated by the disappointing end of the day.
We didn't have anything left. We barely made it to the car. I mean, just walking up the little bank there, it's like,
whew. I look back at my 18 years as a crew chief and go, that was the year that the championship just got away.
Ifs and buts, you know, if that didn't happen, if this didn't happen, a cut tire, a little damage, you know, all these little things. Maybe one of those things didn't happen, our whole day is different. We're celebrating.
But the day ended. Triumph turned to tragedy just 4 months later.
I'd ridden my motorcycle to Bristol, and it was raining, foggy rain, terrible, and was flipping channels, just sitting watching TV. And they had a breaking story.
Stock car champion Alan Kulwicki and 4 others were killed last night in the crash of a private plane. Kulwicki's plane went down as it approached an East Tennessee airport near the Bristol International Raceway, where he was due to race this Sunday.
We elected to, you know, sit out of that race.
NASCAR shut the track down, and I was able to make the lap, and didn't want to do it, but I'm glad I did it because it was for him.
Watching Alan's truck drive around the racetrack, it's like nobody wanted to be there. That's the saddest racetrack I've ever gone to.
The season of suffering wasn't over.
This morning, the 32-year-old Allison died from a fatal head injury after his helicopter crashed.
In July, the NASCAR family endured another unthinkable loss.
And, I'm sorry. He had a little saying, and he was very committed to this saying.
There ain't nothing going to come up today that me and the Lord can't handle together, and it has certainly helped me get through the things that I've had to get through.
You look at just that year, and especially that last race. Richard Petty ends his career. Jeff Gordon starts his career. Alan Kulwicki, the last owner driver to win a championship, beats the king of the hill, Bill Elliot. And in the next 3 or 4 years, the total face of the sport changed and became Jeff Gordon, and it became Rick Hendrick, and it became the Jack Roush's. That was on